Apart from 3D linear and circular patterns, you can also create a 3D curve-driven pattern in SOLIDWORKS. This means that you can distribute copies of a solid object along the length of a line or a curve. In the Open document, I have already created a solid object, and on top of this object, I have also created a box. In addition, I have created a sketch in which I have drawn a spline. Now I want to distribute 5 boxes along the length of the curve. To achieve that, I have to activate the Curve-Driven Pattern tool. To activate the tool, I will click on the arrow below the linear pattern icon, which can be found in the Features ribbon. Once I do, the Property Manager palette activates automatically. I will go to the Features and Faces area and I will click to activate the Features field. With the Features field active, I will select the box. Then I will go to the Direction 1 area, I will activate the corresponding field and I will select the curve. Now I have to specify the number of copies. So I will type the number 5 in the Number of Instances field and I will press Enter. Once the number of copies have been specified, I can also specify the distance between the copies. So I will type the number 8 in the Distance 1 field and I will press Enter. Once I do, the preview changes accordingly and I can see how those copies will be distributed on the curve. Now I want you to notice something interesting. I will change the value in the Distance 1 field to 20 mm and notice that even though I have specified 5 copies, only 3 appear in the preview. This happens because the curve's length is not enough for 5 objects with 20 mm distance between them. Now, if I am more interested in the number of copies than the distance between them, I can activate the Equal Spacing option. With this option active, the distance between the copies is adjusted automatically to ensure that 5 copies will be created and the distance between them will be equal. Notice that once I activated the Equal Spacing option, the Distance 1 field became inactive and I cannot specify the distance value. Now, if I want the copies to be distributed in the other direction, all I have to do is click on the Reverse Direction button. From the Alignment Method options, I can determine if the copies will remain tangent to the curve or if they will face in the same direction as the original object. To understand the difference between the two options, I will go to the top view. Then, I will activate the Tangent to Curve option and notice that each box becomes tangent to the curve. On the contrary, if I activate the Align to Seed option, all the boxes have the same direction as the original one. In this example, I will select the Tangent to Curve option. Now it's time to activate the Direction 2 options. As you can see, the settings of Direction 2 are the same with those in the Direction 1. If I had created another spline, I could have selected it to create more boxes on the second spline. Since in this example I have not created another spline, I will deactivate the Direction 2 option. As happens with every pattern tool, in the Curve-Driven Pattern tool there is also the Instances to Skip option. I will activate the Instances to Skip field and notice that a dot appears in each copy of the pattern. If I click on a dot, then the corresponding copy disappears from the pattern. Now I can make it reappear if I click on the same dot. once I make a copy disappear, its name appears in the Instances to Skip field. At this point, I will click on the check mark to create the pattern. Now you can use this tool to create your own curve-driven 3D patterns.